and say no. Now I do. Really excited to be here at Cosm LA here on Speak today. And excited to get started, but we do have some bad news to start the show with.
Joy Taylor is down bad after being fired for this. So, the big bang. The month of January 2025 was supposed to be our year, but what happened? We were on a mission. We were able to dream. A number of you have quietly terminated your subscriptions to OnlyFans, while others have purchased gym memberships and filled their planners with aspirational goals. This is what you believe to be true. Where am I? As I attempt to get up from the couch, I continue to be chunky, my knees continue to crack when I bend, and I continue to clap for myself. On the other hand, I wasn't the only one. Additionally, Joy Taylor had lofty aspirations. On the other hand, rather than advancing in her career, she plunged headfirst into the muck, dragging half of Fox Sports along subsequently. Now that we have that out of the way, let's dissect this situation because it unfolds like a Netflix drama, but it's even messier. From the left side of the stage, Nonan Faraji, the makeup artist to the stars, or at least the crew of FS1, has arrived. She brings this outrageous lawsuit, which is essentially a book that tells everything and has legal repercussions. Moreover, she did not pull any punches in her delivery. Names, she mentioned. Dates are used. There have been allegations. The mode with full exposure. And boy, did she love to cook. Let's begin with avoid using Bayless, a man who spends his entire life screaming at Shannon. The allegations made by Faraji state that Skip allegedly offered money in exchange for clapping cheeks, and not in a poetic manner either, in the sense that there is genuine how much for the cheeks energy. I'm sorry, bro. You're probably 70 years old. While you are there, go yell at LeBron and drink some tea. What are you doing right now? After that, we have Charlie Dixon. At the time, he was one of the most powerful executives at Fox Sports, and he was responsible for moving pieces and pulling strings. If you get what I'm saying, however, it seems that he was also attempting to move something else. Faraji claims that he attempted to clap as well. But what do you think? It was with Joy Taylor that he was successful. Yes, according to the allegations, they were in a situation that could be described as executive with benefits. The next person to arrive is Emmanuel Acho, the unexpected turn of events that nobody saw coming. This individual is speaking as if he were reciting passages from the Bible on the outside. Free and clear, educated in the media. Joy is being shouted out on camera while praising black women. Where does the action take place? The information provided by Faraji suggests that he was also clapping Joy's cheeks. Supposedly, every single program that was broadcast on FS1 was, in essence, a daytime soap opera with sports segments interspersed throughout. This is where things start to get a little bit messy. According to Faraji, she attempted to confide in Joy by saying something along the lines of, "Hey girl, these guys are being really inappropriate."
I'll never be in another public relationship. I was in multiple public relationships. That's not how I can...
You're not on that.
But
No.
never though, Joy?
No, I can't.
Never?
So there's a difference between a private relationship and a public relationship.
Nevertheless, Joy, rather than offering her support, reprimanded her by saying, "Get over it. The situation is exactly like that." How come? Sis has become the HR department nightmare. What's the real deal though? According to Faraji, Joy claims that she told her that if anything were to come back on her, she would simply cry wolf and say, "Oh, it's sexual harassment, poor me," and then ride that wave like a public relations surfboard, such as, "Yeah, I'm getting my cheeks clapped, but if I get caught, I'll play victim and walk out clean," or something along those lines. That is a strategy that could be used in Game of Thrones. Therefore, people were looking at Joy in an asymmetrical manner. That's like, okay, maybe tea. That's how you worked your way up through the ranks. For the simple reason that, let's be honest, Joy was never known for her brilliant sports commentary or outstanding analysis. The numbers that she was putting up were not those of Stephen A. Smith, not bringing the charisma that Shannon Sharpe is known for. It was then that the streets began to murmur. How was it even possible for her to get up there? And then, wham, lawsuit is dismissed. Charlie Dixon is terminated from his position with lightning speed, taken away. During one moment, he is programming shows, and the following moment, he is programming his LinkedIn profile. Afterwards, Joy begins to vanish from the performance space. Days that were not completed. We have no explanation. A rumor that is circulating now. Word is released while it is suspended. Joy Taylor was placed on the bench by her own team. It was at that point that things reached DEFCON 1. In addition, Joy begins to make appearances on podcasts rather than remaining in the background. She was letting it fly, and the first thing she did was listen to Paul Pierce's The Truth. I was just out here cussing like she was free, and here she was talking openly about sex, younger men. That being said, you are free to express yourself in any manner you see fit. For someone who was technically still employed by Fox Sports, however, it was a shocking statement. It's not even possible for ESPN talent to get that loose. Despite the fact that Stephen A. may occasionally let out a hell, he continues to wear a tie and secure it in place. During this time, Joy is giving the impression that she has just begun a podcast that is called Thought Talk Tuesdays. Move forward in time to the moment when the big hammer dropped. Fox Sports has decided to cancel Speak, The Facility, and Breakfast Ball, each and every Joy-related show. What a bomb. Taken away, deleted from the app like a toxic ex-partner would be. And at this point, people are acknowledging that, well, it does make some sense. Let's face it. Let's be honest. In all honest, nobody was actually watching those shows in that manner. There were not many people. A hush fell over Buzz. Joy wasn't nearly as influential as Shannon, Stephen A., or even Pat McAfee, but you would watch for the guests or for a few clips that went viral. In addition, Fox stated, "Nah, we are out," once the lawsuit began to throw elbows. But what else is there? At this moment, people are putting forward illogical hypotheses. The OnlyFans? What are the Patreon booty breakdowns? Might I suggest a podcast on YouTube? It is possible that she will appear with Paul Pierce and a bottle of Henny while she is conducting interviews while wearing a robe.
We just keep it a buck. If they're fine enough, if they're funny enough, or if their financial status is what you want. Fine, funny, money. You're throwing all boundaries, standards.
And this is the conversation that arises as a result of this interaction. Joy Taylor may have become the face of everything that women working in male-dominated industries are trying to fight against if the allegations are true, and let's be clear when we say that it is still alleged, mainly due to the fact that the assumption is now she did not have talent to get there. Her cheeks were there when she arrived. That is detrimental to everyone. This causes women to fall behind, because real professionals now have to deal with more suspicion, more side eyes, and more BS than they always have before. Moreover, what if Joy had actually instructed someone to deal with harassment altogether? Yes, that is a betrayal. That is a criminally terrible mess. The act of doing so is equivalent to providing ammunition to every sleazeball in a boardroom to say, well, it's not that serious. With regard to the male side, this undermines trust. If someone is willing to sleep their way up, does that mean they are willing to lie on you if it is necessary in order to stay awake? Actually, bruh, that is a risky situation. Just for a moment, let's switch places and see what happens. Imagine me attempting to make it in the world of sports television. A female executive approaches me and asks, "So, how far are you willing to go for this opportunity?" As we sit down together, the "I'll do anything" line was the one that took her by surprise. In the next moment, I find myself receiving claps on the cheeks in exchange for time in front of the camera. In other words, that is the fantasy equivalent of a nightmare. Furthermore, that is not even a possibility for the majority of men. We are not allowed to enter based on our looks. We put in labor, we work hard, and we construct our resumes. Not only do we not finesse our way in, but we almost claw our way in. Not to mention the fact that her shows were still unsuccessful, despite the fact that she had a lot of guests in attendance. A single thing can be deduced from this. Even if you clap your cheeks with all your might, the audience will not applaud you if you are not talented. This is the lesson that can be learned from this particular story. Talent, skill, and charisma are still important. Even if you use connections, you can use finesse, and you can run the Executive Express. Regardless of how you got the job, it is irrelevant if people aren't tuning in. You are not going to keep it. Now, the question that needs to be asked is, what is Joy Taylor's next move? How does she go about her own business? Do you find that she disappears into the shadows?
It's fun to argue about. It's fun to talk about what you would do in this scenario, or would you leave the game if the seats were high, or if a man took you this place on a first date, what you would do.
Alternately, does she rebrand it and transform it into something different? Whatever the case may be, she has a long road ahead of her, mainly due to the fact that her name is now associated with a lawsuit, a suspension, and a whole bunch of behind-the-scenes chaos that the internet will never allow her to lose sight of. To put it another way, it's your boy, back with yet another round of muddled news from the media. Be sure to keep working hard, maintain your cleanliness, and if you are out here clapping your hands in anticipation of promotions, at the very least, check the ratings first. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.